invited here to do this panel discussion has to do with Texas being the highest state of executions. And so I'd love to hear your thoughts. Timothy, if you'd like to interject, what your thoughts are about this and how that really is not anywhere around oneness, or are we even looking at the issue, or we just kind of stockpiling people and saying we just need to get rid of this part of society because we don't want to deal with it?
Well, in this transition that I spoke of, the Piscean end of it still holds the intentionality of a great deal of enslavement and brutality. I was thinking as you were talking that a few decades ago, that wouldn't be a problem because they'd simply go in and beat them to death. Mm-hmm. And so consequently, this, even among the very hardest and lowest vibrational occupational field, a change is occurring. Now, a great deal of this is being manipulated and done with malicious constant intent. We haven't said anything about the fact that there are indeed malefactors of the old system that are doing everything they can to maintain it. And I feel that the death row business is a major part of their efforts. I think it's to induce fear. I think it is to brutalize us, which I believe it does. Every time something is done in our name like this, we are all implicated, and it takes us down some. So, I mean, we can be against this. Just dealing with that consciously is enough to give yourself the space to start doing more. I think we're going to see those things falling away soon, because I don't believe that these things can exist in the new paradigm field, the new vibrational field that Ted has so directly mentioned is just coming in here. These are the last ugly vestiges of the society that we're leading, of the vibrational field that we're leading, and they're horrendous. And this is really tip of the iceberg stuff. If we want to look at the dark, which we have to, the trick is to look at it and say, yep, there it is, and now we're moving on, and now we are being these new humans because of what we see here. We don't want to do this anymore, so we're just going to change and do this new thing. We don't know what it is, but we're just going to do it. And we've been quite successful with that approach now, I'd say, for the last 5 years, in terms of the societal changes that we've worked on, and that have indeed, we've seen movement. And that's the important thing. This stuff doesn't happen all at once. It would be nice that new paradigm just went just like that. But it's taking us some time to do it. But we've stuck with it in these groups, in these circles of intention, when it looked really bleak. We kept doing it. We kept saying, no, wait a minute, we don't want this. Yeah, I know, I don't know, but we don't want this, and we do want this new way of doing things. We want kindness and love and harmony. And we've been working for it, and increasingly it's in the world. There's no question in my mind right now that while all this ugliness still is, and maybe more so, because as we wake up, we get to see it better. So we're seeing some intensely, but we are also seeing just the very fact that we're sitting here talking about it is something that couldn't have happened a very short time ago.
Ted, I want to say one thing because I was going to address the question to you anyway. You know, when I look back on Indian history, which is my native culture, it's illustrated as to have had a caste system. And we often look at other cultures and we judge how they have been, how they have moved forward in time. But what we have here is no different than a caste system. We are looking at different people at different levels, and we're casting them aside. In addition to, we're outraged when our soldiers die in other countries. But we're not willing to see these people, because of something they did, as those same sons and daughters of this country. So what needs to change? And from your holistic perspective, what are some of the things that could be done as alternatives?
Well, the most important one is just to grow and allow, those two things, and observe, because it's happening. It's happening in the models, all the models we're talking about, whether it's prison guards that say, hey, this ain't working, or even in economics. We talk about the patriarchy, and yes, we do have one, but the economic systems that used to work, the patriarchs still run it, and they're acting like it's a hierarchy, but it's been shown. The hierarchy ain't making money. It's those that are going the other way. And you have networking instead. You don't have just a need-to-know basis where you get the information going one way. It's a networking thing happening. That's where the money's being made, and the hierarchy is still taking credit for it, but it ain't happening. And everybody knows it ain't happening. The emperor ain't got no clothes. So just through the natural process, we've got a lot of help in the universe. We've got natural law behind our side, so we will evolve. We will get kinder. We will get less dense. We will get less rigid. We will get more membranous, so there'll be interpenetration between the entities and the various ways that God expresses himself, and the universe expresses herself. So it's happening, and it's just happening just by the natural way that the dynamics that happen in the world and in the universe.
So we're talking about natural law, we're talking about universal law. When we look at our legal system, we look at what goes on in there. A person steps into a courtroom, there's an individual in a black robe that spends 15 minutes, 30 minutes to hand down a ruling or whatever they're going to hand down, not necessarily enough time to really even know what has gone on, and something's just issued. Leah, when we look at that and we see how we've misused law in the legal sense, is there a certain degree that we're also misusing universal law? And do we need to line up there so that we can line up on the outside?
That's very interesting how you're posing that question. There is, for me, a distinction between the legal system and the law. They are not interchangeable. And so the legal system has given incredible liberty to those who would seek to control us. And so now we are discovering that there is such a thing as universal law, and that we are rising up into the ability to live that out and appropriate our lives according to universal law. So it occurs to me that you're pointing to responsibility. What is our responsibility then when we understand that we have this opportunity to align with a universal essence that can propel us into this divine blueprint? What is this kind of responsibility? And I'm pretty jazzed about that because, like has been pointed out, the old ways we've done all of that. It's boring now. It's corrupt and it can't be sustained. So that's falling away, and we are finding that these laws of the universe, the laws of attraction and deliberate intent, allowance, and balance are coming into play. And we're the players. So we're here at play, having fun, and like you point out, the universe has our backs, to quote you. And so we are safe, we are secure.
Laura, I'd love for you to answer that question too, because so many would listen to Leah and say, I don't feel safe. I don't feel secure. This world does not look like there's something that is in order. So how do we bridge the gap from those that know this to be true and can hold the space for this to be true until this all does unfold in this way, and those that are sitting amidst the crumbling structures trying to say, how do I survive this?
I know, it is a huge challenge. When Leah was talking, I was thinking of the laws that we have that are based on divine law. And I'm going to make it very simple. Our Constitution in the United States was really based on divine law. And I love the First Amendment of the Constitution, which is free speech. Because and it's interesting that our founding fathers made that the first one, because I really believe that saying the truth, and somehow the truth has so much power. It has an innate attractor pattern, okay? People are drawn to the truth, and you look at so much effort is spent on stifling the truth by the power structure, those that want to abuse our rights as human beings as inalienable, our inalienable rights that you cannot separate us from. So I love the First Amendment. It is really where we go to get the truth so that we can make a choice. And if we are blocked from the truth, then we're kind of lost. So that's why our founding fathers made that the first one, because they knew how powerful that was. And then you've got the other ones after that. You're able to protect yourself whenever there's danger. It's the Second Amendment. Very simple, very beautiful. And I think that it all comes down to truth. And if you want to change something, I think Gandhi said this, if you want something to change, you cannot condemn it. But you can show the truth. And people who have their souls that are conscious, and maybe some that are becoming more aware, will be attracted to that truth. I really firmly believe the truth is the answer.